Yeah, Paulie,
We got a call on the line.
Okay.
And usually we don't take calls in the middle of the first segment.
Oh, okay.
It's Senator John McCain of the great state of Arizona.
Well, we're in his state. Senator, welcome to the program. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Yes, on narrowing the goalposts. Yes, on moving the kickoffs back. Let's just not have it to be so automatic. Welcome to Arizona. I'm here trying to do the Lord's work in the city of Satan while you are enjoying 70-some degree weather, and there's a huge storm that is supposed to paralyze the East Coast. So congratulations. I'd hoped to be with you in person, but I am now leaving in a couple hours to go to Saudi Arabia as part of a delegation over the death of the Saudi king, and I do have great sympathy, and I'm glad I was asked, but all things considered, I'd rather be sitting there with you guys.
Well, you know what? We were talking about this last hour with Tony Dungy, with the whole commissioner and what's going on with the Patriots. How far does this go? How far do you care that this goes?
As you and I have mentioned before in the past, Dan, I, being a mediocre high school athlete, am more than an avid fan of professional and college football. I mean, I'm like a whole lot of Americans, and I'm not speaking as a senator. I hope that I'm speaking as a sports fan. I think it's very harmful. We should be talking about this matchup, which is going to be, I think it's going to, like before, it's going to come down to the last few seconds, perhaps, of the game, and maybe even overtime, because they're so evenly matched and they've got some great personalities, although I dislike both of them, being a Cardinals fan. But the fact is, especially Richard Sherman, I might point out. But anyway, so what are we talking about? We're talking about this, what could it be, a major scandal. And that's not good. And it's on the heels, obviously, of other things, such as the Ray Rice. It's not going to make Americans stop going to professional football games. It's not going to stop them from watching. But what it does is it lowers and tarnishes the image of the most popular sport in America, of which we all know so many fans are emotionally involved. So if I were Mr. Goodell, and obviously he's not seeking my recommendation, I would hire a very good PR firm, and the first thing to do is come out and come clean and start putting this behind them.
Well, they've let it go on too far, too long, Senator.
Sure.
That's the problem.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. There should have been an immediate reaction to it. And by the way, is it that hard? Dan, again, I'm speaking as an amateur. Is it that hard to figure out what happened to those footballs? Clearly, somebody took the air out, right? Isn't that correct?
Well, I want to know what the Colts footballs were like, Senator, and then I can.
They said they were. Yeah, they said that they were different, from what I understand. Maybe not. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure that out. If the Colts footballs were the same as the Patriots, then let's move on. If they were different,
right,
then something did happen on the sidelines, and then you know, it doesn't take long. There's not a long paper trail here of saying, all right, what's your job? I handle the footballs. All right, come on in. We'd like to talk to you. That's all.
It seems to me that's a pretty simple approach, and one that probably should have been pursued immediately. Was there a difference between the two sets of footballs? But so anyway, look, I'm so proud that they're in Arizona, that a lot of people are going to be exposed to the beauty of our valley and our state. And as you know, we've had some perception problems in the past, and I know that everybody enjoys the experience just as they did the Pro Bowl, and we're very proud to have these kinds of sporting events in our valley, and I'm proud of Arizona, and I'm glad you're there enjoying the weather rather than being in New York, back in Connecticut.
He's the senator from Arizona, John McCain, joining us on the program. How do you think Belichick would have been as somebody in the military, as a general?
Well, you know, it's kind of a special place because his father, as you know, was a long-time football coach, assistant at the Naval Academy. In fact, he was there when I was there, and beloved. His father was beloved by all of us who had the opportunity and honor of knowing him. But I also would suggest that perhaps a Dale Carnegie course for Mr. Belichick might be in order. And I watched his interview, and I'm sorry to take up your valuable time, Coach Belichick. I'm sorry we have to do this, but don't you know, Mr. Belichick, Coach Belichick, don't you understand that this issue is on the lips of every American, every sports bar, every water cooler?
Wait, have you talked to other senators about this?
Senate?
Have you talked to?
Sure.
Oh, you have.
Absolutely.
Sure. So this comes up in the Senate.
Yeah. Yemen falls to the Houthis, and we're talking about the football.
Well, you got your priorities in place.
Talking about the balls.
If Carson Palmer was healthy this season, Senator, finish that sentence.
Yeah. We could have seen the Cardinals today for the first time in history, a team playing in the Super Bowl in its own home stadium, and we regret it. But I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our coach. I'm proud of our owner. We've come a long, long way, Dan, as you know, since several years ago when we were almost a laughing stock. And so I'm proud of all those players. And I don't know, injuries affect every team, but I'm not sure I've seen that many injuries with that great of an effect on our team, and yet they fought on, and I'm proud of them, and I hope Larry Fitzgerald stays in for the next 20 years. He's one of the really fine athletes and fine young men that I've ever had the opportunity of knowing a little bit.
I'm going to put a couple of things on your tab this week while you're gone,
Sure.
So just wanted to let you know if some things show up on your tab in the Scottsdale, Phoenix area.
Just chalk it up to my campaign account, okay? Because I know you'll be out there saying re-elect John McCain. So I'll be glad to foot the tab.
Thank you, Senator. Safe travels.
And I'm really sorry I'm not with you, Dan.
We'll do it again. Thank you, Senator John McCain from the great state of Arizona.